you're not out. Don't give up and don't give in. Although it seems you never win, you will always pass the test as long as you keep your head to the sky. You can win as long as you keep your head to the sky. You can win as long as you keep your head to the sky. You can win, yes, as long as you keep your head to the sky. You can win, yes, as long as you keep your head to the sky. Be optimistic. Gotta be optimistic. Gotta be optimistic. Gotta be optimistic. Gotta be optimistic.
Good morning, Open Heart, and welcome to our Heartstream live celebration for this Sunday, April the 11th, 2021. I am so glad that you have joined us for today. Thank you for being a part of this celebration, this movement and consciousness that we provide each and every week. You are a part of it. It is possible because of you from your energy, your prayers, your thoughts, your vibrations, your financial gifts, everything that you do to help make this celebration possible, and that it reaches so many people that you may not even be aware of the fact. And again, as you see notices about our live stream, our Heartstream Live, if you will share them on social media, tell your friends about it as well. It helps us to grow. It helps our message to grow. I just wanted to say very briefly, the Church Health Center here in Memphis, which is a health care organization that is faith-based, has continued to provide updates and provide guidance as it relates to the COVID-19 virus and all of the considerations that are there. And just recently on Friday, they had a webinar that I watched, and they talked about churches reopening and all of the considerations that are there. And out of that, the consensus of the panelists, which included medical professionals as well as members from the faith community, including a couple who are medical professionals, but also faith leaders. Again, the guidance there is not quite yet. Even with people being vaccinated and things that are happening in terms of the numbers going down, in many cases, there's also the new variants that are arising that are something we have to be careful about. And then just the general, and my going out and being around, seeing people who now feel like the rules are relaxing, see people wearing their masks more as chin straps rather than keeping their faces covered, and people not paying attention to all of that. But what they were saying, and what I believe, is not quite time yet to let our guard down and relax. And so for those people who might have been wondering, when is Open Heart going to open again? I've seen there are a few congregations around the city that have begun doing that. But I think that caution, exercising on the side of caution, is what continues to be important for all of our health welfare and well-being. And so that's where we are now. Never dreamed that we would be going this long, moving into year 2 of our live celebrations, but we will continue to do all that we can to make this Heartstream Live celebration something that provides you as best we can all that you need to help you in your daily journey. And we know that because there is no spot where God is not, because Spirit is everywhere present at the same time, even in these circumstances, even through this medium, we're still able to experience this and to know this. And I greet you. I bless you. I see God in you.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to today's Open Heart Spiritual Center service. Let's take a moment and just take a breath in with me. And release this breath. Let's take another breath in. And release. And one more. And release. And as we release this breath, we release whatever has come before this time. Just set it aside. Let it be. If you choose to return to it later, then that is your choice. But choose here, be present, right here and right now. And I just give thanks for this day. I give thanks for all who participate in this day. I give thanks for each and every single one of you that are joining us on this day, this beautiful day, this loving day, this day filled with peace, promise, and potential. And knowing the infinite wisdom that is within me, the infinite wisdom that is within each of you, right here and right now, is the divine oneness that we are all share, that we all are encompassed by, and that we are all here gathered right here, right now, in that divine one mind, that isness, that allness that ever is present within each one of us. And I am so grateful for this time together. I'm so excited about the service, and get excited with me and join me in this excitement, and knowing that today is the day that we hear this message, and this message is going to just open us up to be even greater than we were before we began today. And so now I just give thanks for this time, and I release and let it go. Let the celebration begin. And so it is.
The promise of renewal. Today, I rejoice in the knowing that the arc of the universe bends towards renewal, revitalization, and restoration. Behold, God makes all things new. Each day, I rise with the awareness that promise, potential, and possibility await me. I live from this truth, and so it is.
What a good-looking congregation. In my eyes, in my mind, in my heart, in my soul, in my life, I have been searching for something, but you were my dream. You're perfect. You're golden. You're the light. You're love. You're perfect. You're golden. You're my light. My love. When I breathe, when I swallow, caress I feel. When I listen, perfect. You're golden. You're light. You're perfect. You're golden. You're my light. My love. Light, 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 light. Don't the angels sing? Light, 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 light. When I'm sad, oh, and so dark, shallow and in doubt, when I'm trying my best to put one foot in front of the other. Oh, you're perfect. You're golden. You're the light of my life. You're my love from forever. In your reflection, I'm perfect. So I'll keep looking at you to keep witnessing my perfection. In you is me. Whoa, light, 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 light. Though the angels sing, light, 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 light. You're always there. You never leave. You're holding me. You set me free. Your guiding light. Your empathy. Your confidence to express in and destiny. Oh, you're perfect. You're golden. You're the light of my life. You're my love from forever. In your reflection, I'm perfect. So I'll keep looking at you to keep witnessing that I'm perfect. I'm golden. You're the light of my life. You're my love from forever. In your reflection, I'm perfect. So I'll keep looking at you to keep witnessing my perfection. In you is me. Oh, light, 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 light. Light, 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 light. And all the angels sing, light, 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 light. Oh, light, 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 light. Check it out. You're perfect, golden light, my love. Come on. You're perfect, golden light, my love. it to your neighbor. You're perfect. Golden light. My love. Sing it to another neighbor. You're perfect. Golden light. My love. Sing it to Naomi. You're perfect. Golden light. My love. Put your hand on your heart and sing it to yourself. You're perfect. Golden light. My
Good morning, Open Heart. Today, for the affirmative reading, I will be reading the charge and accompanying prayer written by Reverend Dr. Ted Smith. He gave this charge at my friend's graduation from divinity school in 2012. Since that time, I have often turned to this charge when I need to refocus myself on what is important. This charge is for all the rebel apostles. It is for country pastors who will sneak up on the seemingly sophisticated. It is for high priests of the fabulous, for preachers of the word and poets of the world, for ministers of presence, studious malcontents, rebuilders of the walls, seekers of the calls, and future faculty legends. It is for all the school prophets of the class of 2012. Not in my own name, for you deserve a better charge than I can live, but in the name of all that is best about this place. In the name of Antoinette Brown, James Lawson, Kelly Miller Smith, Walter Harrelson, Edward Farley, Sally McFay, Renita Weems, Harmon Ray, and more. I would charge you to live lives of rigor. Rigor is a magic word, so full of positive connotation and so empty of content that it is almost impossible to oppose. But these names suggest the kind of content that invites both opposition and commitment. They give a charge to us all. This list of names presses me to speak words that judge me more than they judge you. The world has plenty of people who care about justice when it costs us nothing, who like to browse books and hold forth, who accessorize ourselves with the names of thinkers we barely understand, who care as long as we are on the clock, who make a tidy career of managing benevolence, who like to hear people call us Reverend or Doctor or Reverend Doctor. This school calls us to something more. It calls us to give it all. It calls us to give it all up for the cause. Play for keeps. Take a stand. Learn the language. Go to the archives. Work behind the scenes. Follow through. Say no to demands that don't matter so they may have time to say yes to those that do. Make the right compromise. Reject the wrong ones. Live a life of such integrity that if people get a peek behind the scenes, they believe you more, not less. Do it not just as a student when it is easier. Double down when the stakes go up. This charge comes with a warning. Rigor can go wrong in many ways. It can slip into the role of a fetish, a stand in for the good we really try to seek. Then we think that if we are working hard, if it is painful, it must be good. But this is to mistake means for end. In theological language, it is to mistake piety for God, and it is fatal. Rigor can also go wrong by curdling into resentment. Resentment sets in when we take our eyes off the prize, look at what rigor has cost us, and glance with envy at those who have not had to pay those costs. It leads us to contempt for others and ourselves, and it can eat us alive. The antidote of all to these risks is not doing less, but believing more. Both risks are rooted in forgetting of or loss of faith in the God we set out to serve. And so that is the second half of today's charge. Believe more. I don't mean to call for some kind of willful gullibility, some naive credulity, but for a growing depth of perception that can see the ways of life at work even in the trials of the world. The great saints of rigor had doubts, but these doubts produced depth, not despair. The great saints of rigor find themselves disappointed by the people around them and by themselves. But this pushes them to irony and compassion, not contempt. Dorothy Day, Baruch Spinoza, Bob Moses, these rigorous lives are marked not by resentment, but by joy. We are made for joy. But I can't charge you with joy, as it is not something we can make or do. It can only be received. But I can tell you story after story of women and men who lived rigorous lives, kept their eyes on the prize, and found themselves filled with joy. May it be so for all of you, for all of your years, and may it be so for all of us. Gracious God, you have led us to this place through many years. If the road has sometimes been stony, if the rod has sometimes been bitter, you have always been faithful. You have given us the joy of friends, the patience and support of loved ones, the delight of new ideas, the ability to keep on in the face of obstacles, the teachers who have lived up to their titles and then some. We have called upon you and you have answered. You have supplied our needs, body and soul. We give you thanks and praise. We ask that you will pour out your spirit upon these graduates. Stir them up that they may stir your people to justice. Grant them peace that they may offer your peace to others. Teach them wisdom in the secret places of their heart, that they may teach others things that matter. Give them dreams of beauty that they may illuminate the world as yours. We ask that you will give each of us what we need and that you will keep our hungers keen so that we turn always to you, the source of everything good. In your holy name, we pray. Amen.
Good morning. These are your announcements.
Today is a day like no other day. Just think and you'll know that it's true. Days like today should be holidays. So I'm singing this message to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Just have a happy day.
At Open Heart, we believe in the power of affirmative prayer. We're setting the mental equivalent for healing, comfort, strength, and wholeness for all these persons you see on our list. We're holding space for you, and we know that it's already done in the mind of God. How do you meditate? What is mindfulness? These questions and more are being discussed in our virtual book study led by Villa Willis, our assistant spiritual director and minister. This group meets each second Thursday of the month. The book they're using is The Headspace Guide to Meditation and Mindfulness by Andy Puddicombe. Thank you, Aisha Battle, for providing our affirmative reading this morning. And hey, you, yes, you too can do the same by sending your video to Jake Gilmore at Openheartspiritual.org. Will today be the day that I get yours? Our daily affirmative prayer call takes place each and every morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. Dial in as one of our prayer team members shares an inspirational reading and then prays for you, all in about 7 minutes. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am richly blessed, creating a greater and greater flow. Thank you for all of you who continue to give, reminding you of our conscious giving. You can do so via our app. You can go to our website and click on the give button, or you can text the word GIVE to 615-422-4292.
As we arrive at this centering moment, let us take a deep breath in and out. And let's allow this beautiful crystal bowl that my daughter Lily is letting me use center us. In this sacred space, which is us, the place where God dwells, may we be centered, divine eyes and ears open to hear, and feet to act. Breathe in with me and exhale. Blessings.
Declare it. into the atmosphere.
Into the atmosphere.
Speak into the atmosphere.
Speak into the atmosphere.
I shall have what I decree. Yes, I believe.
Yes, I believe.
It belongs to me.
It belongs to me.
And so I'm going to
Speak into the atmosphere.
I'll speak into the atmosphere.
Speak into the atmosphere. Speak into the atmosphere. Speak into the atmosphere.
The promise of renewal. The promise of renewal. The default of life is life. Yes, I said it. The default of life is life. In this, what I like to call the post-resurrection glow, that is, we know that last Sunday that many people around the world celebrated Easter. Those from the Christian tradition recognize Easter that being an important time in the life and the history of the church. And we talked about that. I talked about that on last week. And then this is the post-resurrection glow. And I know that in this moment, that as people think about that and hear me say those words, they will look at me because they will say, well, you know, I mentioned last week, what good is the resurrection if it doesn't apply to you, if it doesn't work for you? But I want to expand even more in talking about the fact that it's beyond doctrine and dogma. It's the fact that we live in a time, those of us that are in this season that we call spring, those of us that are in this part of the world that are experiencing spring, we are seeing in our eyes and ears and our bodies and everything else the idea of life springing from that which was assumed to be dead. That is why cultures around the world throughout history have had these stories about their deities and spirits and other people rising from the dead and coming from that, because it captures what we see happening in the universe, what we see happening in nature. And can't you feel it? If you walk outside of your door, you can hear the birds singing, or if you're like us and we crack our bedroom window at night and early in the morning, we hear the birds already singing when it's still dark about the dawn that is about to make its appearance. And when we see the grass growing up out of the ground where it was once brown, and the leaves coming back on the trees where it was once bare. Now, all of the things that remind us of how earth has this rejuvenative quality, how things are coming back into blooming and blossoming. And all of that, just how important it is. So the default of life is life. And we are living in this moment, living in this experience that reminds us of that we can take and apply to our everyday lives. I remember many years ago when Open Heart we were using space on Broad Avenue. And in that building, we came out one morning, several members came out over the area where they parked. And one of them came back in and got me and pulled me out, said, I need to show you something. And there were a group that were standing out there, and I thought something bad had happened. Maybe someone's car had been broken into or something else. And yet what I saw when I got out there is that they were pointing up to the top of the building there where we met. And there on the side of the building, there was a shrub that had started to grow from the side of the building, from the concrete in the building. There was a crack there, and apparently dirt had gotten in there, and then the seeds had gotten in there, and it caused a shrub to root itself there and start to grow out of the side of the building. And they were taking pictures of it and everything. It made me think about Tupac Shakur's his poem about the rose that grew from concrete. But the fact that wherever there is the opportunity for life to express itself, for life to exist, it will go in those places that we sometimes think are unlikely places, and life can thrive. Life will thrive. That is, again, that the default of life is life. And that means something to us, something for us, a way in which we can approach each and every day as we go about our lives and continue to understand that we live in a universe that is positively and kindly intentioned toward us, as Morton Kelsey would say, that we live in a place in which the universe is conspiring on our behalf, and it's our opportunity each day to take advantage of that. It's our opportunity each and every day. That's why the daily affirmation for this month, as I put it together and I thought about it, and there's some things that were flowing through my head, and as I got quiet and still, it started to flow through me, and it came in the words and the title, The Promise of Renewal. And today I rejoice in the knowing that the arc of the universe bends toward renewal, revitalization, and restoration. You and I participate in this promise of renewal each and every day. You may not realize it, you may not recognize it, but we do every day. When we go to sleep at night, we go to sleep with the expectation that we will awake in the morning. I know we oftentimes will hear people in prayer say there's some that went to bed last night and didn't wake up this morning. But we go to bed with the realization and the idea that we will awake in the morning. And I know sometimes that it might be that when we contemplate the fact that we have things that we have to face in the morning, and somehow also that when we go to bed at night, that sleep, sometimes there can be more of an idea than a reality. I remember going to my doctor not too long ago, and we were talking, and I was talking about sometimes not sleeping well, and he said, you are like so many people these days, and the times in which we live, that just seems to be what's happening for us. But when we go to sleep at night, that there is the expectation that tomorrow awaits us, and we will be able to greet the day. So today I rejoice in the knowing that the arc of the universe bends toward renewal, revitalization, and restoration. Behold, God makes all things new. Each day I rise with the awareness that promise, potential, and possibility await me. Oh, I understand that there are days where you might not feel like getting up. I know I go through those days where physically I don't feel like getting up. But around 6 a.m. or so, we are up out of the bed and out of the house walking, getting our 4 or 5 mile walk in. But there are days when I don't feel like it. There are days when mentally I may not feel that way. But I understand that it's a day that is full of promise, potential, and possibility, knowing that there are things that await me that can be of an amazing surprise, things that await me that can be a new fulfilling, a new way of seeing things. When we talk about in New Thought, a field of infinite possibilities, which is what we live in, which is a part of who we are. This infinite possibilities means that there are so many choices, so many opportunities, so many things that can happen out there. They're all out there. They are, if we think from a quantum physics perspective, there are so many things that are there. so many opportunities, so many ways in which things can take, so many directions in which things can go in, infinite number. It's only when we make a decision that things begin to collapse in on that decision. And then once we make that decision, they collapse in on that decision, and the universe goes into work into making those a reality. That's why we have to be careful about what it is that we think and about where we place our attention and where we set our intention. Because we, as you hear me say all the time, where we place our energy and attention and intention, that's where energy flows. That's where things begin to manifest. That's where things come from. The things begin to collapse in on that choice, begin to collapse in on that way, and then we find ourselves moving in that path, moving in that direction. And that's why also it can help us, and it can be of service to us in those moments and in those opportunities too, where we maintain an open mind, remain open to infinite possibilities, knowing sometimes that when we place a label on something or when we set an intention about something, it can close down other things. But to be open and available to the expression of spirit is moving in this direction, understanding that the arc of the universe is bending toward renewal, revitalization, and restoration. And I'd like to talk about, again, promise, potential, and possibility, knowing that it is a way for us to conduct our day. I said that when we wake up in the morning, oftentimes we may not feel like getting up. I know, again, physically and mentally and spiritually, there's sometimes where I'd rather lay in bed. There are times when I might dread what the day has to hold. There are times where I am doubtful about the outcome of certain things, and I know what that's like. But understand this. The last part of our affirmation says, I live from this truth. What truth? The truth that each day I rise with the awareness that promise, potential, and possibility await me. That we live from this truth. Meaning that no matter what might have happened before. What does that sound like? The whole idea in our teaching that principle is not bound by precedent, so that what might have been unfortunate or something we label bad or something we label disappointing or frustrating or whatever else might have happened, that doesn't have to continue to occur. That doesn't happen today, because today is a new day. As the psalmist reminds us that this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Understanding this, greeting the day with an attitude of gratitude, greeting the day, understanding that it is a day full of promise, full of potential, full of possibility, and arise and live from this truth. I remember years ago when I was employed at an organization, and there were a number of us that decided one day to try and do something outside of the job to try and get to know one another. One of the new people had come in and made the suggestion. So we decided to go to the movies together. And we went to see the movie called The Fighting Temptations. You may or may not remember that movie. I think it was Beyonce and Cuba Gooding Jr. that were in the movie. It was about a choir in a town that there were some things that were happening there. And Cuba Gooding Jr. came in and as a director of the choir, and things turned around. It was a feel-good movie. But there was a song in the movie that in this song, the words that came out of that song, I don't remember all of the words now, but what I do remember, because as we walked out of the theater, one of my coworkers kept singing that part of the song over and over again. And it was the words, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. And she kept singing those words over and over again and singing that part of the song. And as we continued to walk to our car, I finally stopped And I stopped her and I said, will you please stop singing that part? And she looked at me in a strange manner and she said, well, I'm not worthy. I said, yes, you are. And she said, I'm not worthy. And unfortunately, as I came to know her and to know her life, she lived her life in that manner. And I know that, unfortunately, some of the old teachings that she had been exposed to from a religious perspective and all of that, that told her that she wasn't worthy. But I continue to say to her, yes, you are worthy. And the idea that we have in our teaching is that each of us is worthy. There's nothing that we have to do to deserve our worth. There's nothing that we have to do to try and attain our worth. We already, by our nature, are worthy. And that is something that can help us each and every morning when we don't feel like getting up, when we don't feel in our minds or in our bodies like moving around. There is something that says to us that we are worthy. And not only are we worthy, that we are loved, we are cared for, that we are precious, that we are created in the image and likeness of God, that we are the expressions and the emanations of God, and we are worth something. We are worthy. We live from this truth. We recognize the day as a day full of promise, potential, and possibility. A day that provides us with so many things to be grateful for, so many things to look forward to, so many things that can happen for us, so many ways in which life is expressing itself, so many ways in which we can see that the default of life is life. So again, I say to you this morning, today I rejoice in the knowing that the arc of the universe bends toward renewal, revitalization, and restoration. The years that the locusts have destroyed can be restored. Understanding what that means, understanding the principle of divine restoration. God makes all things new. Behold, God makes all things new. Each day I rise with the awareness that promise, potential, and possibility await me. I live from this truth. And so it is. And so do you.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, gotta let it go. Gotta let it all go. Are you listening? You got to let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I release Yes, I'm only here for God. I know.
I thank you for being